Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening.
There are 3 questions. Who am I? Where am I? And who are you? Wasn't that dreadful?
That was awful, yes.
That was my worst Sylvester impression ever.
It was.
I'm ascending new depths.
Sorry, Sylvester, if you ever see this.
I doubt he is. Time and the Rani. September 1987. Do you remember it?
I think so, yeah. I know I missed part of... I must have seen some of the... I definitely saw this series because I missed the first 3 or 4 minutes of Delta and the Bannerman. I just got up in time to see Ken Dodd get shot.
You forgot Doctor Who was on?
I forgot it was on, yes.
Oh, dear me.
I had to run upstairs and quickly turn the television on, excuse me.
But I was sat in front of the telly for some time beforehand, poised
Yes.
with my new video recorder.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't mine. Well, it was. I hired a video recorder from a TV shop in Verwood.
Right.
And so I'd audio recorded from the 5 Doctors up to Trial of a Time Lord Part 14. But now I was in video with my Scotch tapes already. And the nice thing about this season is that there's 3 and 4 part stories. So you could get 7 episodes on a tape.
Oh, so you could do it on 2 tapes?
So you could get a 4 and a 3 and a 3 and a 4.
Alright, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah. So I watched Time and the Rani Part 1 incessantly.
Alright, okay.
Until the next episode came along. Because this was September 1987 and I was just about to start my 2nd year at university. But the university term started in October.
Alright, okay.
So for the whole of September I just watched Time and the Rani as you know, as each episode came along I watched it a lot. So this story I know every shot in it basically. And yeah, I think this there are problems with Time and the Rani, of course there are, and Pip and Jane Baker are not very happy with some of the stuff they're being asked to do.
But they do it.
And Andrew Cartmel is not happy with some of the stuff they deliver.
Yes.
So nobody is quite pulling
in the right direction.
In the same direction in terms of the script. But there's an awful lot that there's the signs that they're starting to even now get things a bit more right. I think visually it's really good, isn't it? You know, this is a real step up from last year. But we've been doing these videos about how do you launch a new Doctor.
Yes.
And this really does a lot of the tick lists for me. That yes, you've got a new Doctor.
Yes.
You've got a new title sequence.
Yes.
You've got a new theme tune arrangement. But you've also got a new visual look for the show. And it's the video effects that sell it, I think, more than anything. That, like the bubble explosions.
Yeah. That looks fantastic. It still looks pretty good now.
But even stuff like the tinting of the sky in the quarry. Because the quarry is not a million miles away from where we used to live in Gillingham, actually, being in Frome Way. Not Frome. It's pronounced Frome.
Double O.
But I certainly felt, you know, this could be the dawn of a whole new successful era. And yes, it all sort of gets a bit cut short after 3 years. And I think there was a lot of more potential for Sylvester to go on into certainly 4 and maybe even 5 years.
But again, a lot of that's to do with the scheduling.
But, I mean, John Nathan Turner has talked about this on the documentary, that he was so sure he was leaving the show at the end of Trial that he made no plans at all for season 24. So inevitably it becomes a real running on the spot situation. Right? We need to get something made. Yeah. And planning isn't really in the frame at this point. Just how the hell can we get like 4 stories done? Because I have to ask you. I know you've said that you were quite excited about the new Doctor.
Yes. Yes, I remember seeing. I think it was on Newsround. It was either on Newsround or it was on a BBC News Report.
Well, it was certainly on Blue Peter, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was on this one, because I'm sure it was John Craven saying
Yeah.
there was a new Doctor Who, and it was Sylvester McCoy, and then
Yeah.
they showed Sylvester outside the TARDIS with Bonnie Langford clowning around.
Yeah, doing that hanging from
Doing
the
the hanging
TARDIS
with the TARDIS thing, and the thing with the brolly, and
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean to say that I thought Colin Baker was a bad Doctor,
No.
but it had been a turbulent couple of years. It was the hope of that it was going to be a new bright future, and it's going to go the right way.
Well, I think Jonathan Powell has said this was like the last chance saloon for relaunching the show, and inevitably you have the thing that the Doctor is the person that the general public look to, isn't it? If you change the script editor, nobody's going to notice.
No.
So the Doctor, it becomes almost a part of that new launch and not the whole of that new launch. Now, Colin has said that when he was they were talking about him not coming back.
Yeah.
There were three options basically, and option one, which is what Colin wanted, was for him to come back for the whole of the season and regenerate at the end of it.
Yeah.
Option two was they offered him 4 episodes basically to get rid of him, with, in other words, Sylvester coming in at the end of the episode 4 of the first story. And neither of those actually happen in the end, and you launch with a new Doctor straight at the start.
Yeah.
Which do you think is the best option under the circumstances?
The best option is probably the option they have to go with, which is to have the new Doctor at the start.
Yeah.
Personally, as a fan, I would have liked to have seen Colin get a better deal and to get a regeneration story.
Yeah.
So to maybe, even if they're just giving him the first story of the season and then had the new Doctor for the second story of the season.
Yeah.
But I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that. If you're going to do it, you start with the new Doctor straight away.
Yeah.
And the regeneration only just about works.
They get away with it.
They get away with it, but I always look, because, I mean, the wig, it's fine. You've got the blurring effect and you can't see. But it's here.
Yeah.
Because the wig doesn't quite come down.
Is it an early wise job?
And you can see a little bit of Sylvester's hair just there. So, yeah.
Because we have the situation, and it's something I've always wanted from the new series, and it's never happened.
Yeah.
That doctors and script editors and, well, let's say showrunners these days,
when they leave and the Doctor goes,
you have never had a situation
where
you've had a Doctor with a new script editor stroke showrunner.
Yeah.
So if Colin had stayed on, you'd have had Andrew Cartmel writing for his Doctor. Because I thought it would have been very interesting if, like, somebody like David Tennant had stayed on for the first season of Stephen Moffat, or whether Peter Capaldi had stayed on under Chris Chibnall. Right. But it doesn't seem to happen. That's the thing these days. That it's very much like if you change the production team,
you change the Doctor.
You change the Doctor as well.
Or if you change the Doctor, you change the production team.
Whichever drives it. That's the thing.
You would hope it's the Doctor, but I suspect sometimes it is the production team.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we're not sort of privy to all these decisions, are we?
No.
So I've always had this thing. It would be. I'd just like to see how what changes and what doesn't under those sort of situations. Because of course you forget how many production teams Tom Baker had.
Yeah.
Because Tom Baker essentially goes through 4 production teams, doesn't he?
He's got Barry Letts, then he gets Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes, then he gets Graham Williams and Anthony Reid. Yeah. And then he gets...
And Douglas Adams.
And then he gets John Nathan Turner.
And Chris Bidmead.
Yeah.
And there's a definite... You can see the progression of the Doctor.
Yeah.
But then, Tom lasts long enough for that to happen.
Yeah.
No Doctors in the 80s or since.
No.
Last long enough for those changes to overlap their Doctors. So that's, it's just quite interesting. Hello, Martha. Martha, put your tail down, honestly. But how confident do you think Sylvester is in these early episodes?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because I know there were some things on the info text about. I think he's asked to tone it down a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a little bit too out there.
Yeah.
He looks confident, but I suspect he probably wasn't.
I know he said about these sort of studio sessions were very long and very tiring, and he says you can tell when in the night because like he's supporting himself with the furniture and the set, you know. But I think pairing him up with Kate O'Mara turns out to be quite a good decision. I think because he's got somebody to sort of act against for, you know, because she's paired with him not only as the Rani but doing a Mel impression as well. I mean, sort of Mel is sidelined for a fair old bit of this story, isn't it? But in some ways, you know, Kate's almost the old hand here, isn't she? And you know, she's experienced enough to, I think, give him the sort of help that possibly he needs at this point.
For a story that's not very highly regarded, it's got a great cast. Because when you've got the likes of Donald Pickering and Wanda Benson in all that makeup, you know.
Oh yes, there are some good names here. Yeah, that's the thing. But
Martha.
I mean, because they go back to
Stop putting your bottom down.
to Troutony.
Put your bottom down.
Martha's being very helpful. She's not. We've not been in most of the day, and so she's you know, she's having fun jumping about. But how do you think Sylvester looks in Colin's costume?
He looks okay.
Yeah.
You can see it's been adjusted.
Adjusted.
Apart from the sleeves, I noticed that the sleeves go down just over his hands a little bit.
Yeah.
Which makes it look slightly too long, which is good. Because obviously it would be, because the Sixth Doctor is a lot taller than the Seventh Doctor.
That's true.
So, you know.
But yeah, I mean, I watching it back, and I know it came in for a lot of stick at the time, because there was that whole stuff on, was it Did You See?
Yeah.
Where you've got various people sort of complaining about how standards have fallen in Doctor Who over recent years. But I enjoyed that quite a lot, actually, more than I thought I was going to. Actually.
I always quite enjoy episode 1. I mean, at one point we'll have to do the whole series again, but just for the, you know, because we still haven't seen anything of Wanda Benson. We've watched it twice, and we still haven't seen anything of Wanda Benson, because I don't think, because when Twitch played it, I think we only saw episode 1 and then went to bed.
Oh, did we? Oh, I can't remember. So. It's a long time ago now.
But yeah, it's I like Sylvester. I like his 3 seasons. They've got good stories in them and good guest casts, and I mean, I know it's jumping ahead, but to the next season. But Greatest Show in the Galaxy is one of my particular favourites. Yeah. And that whole stuff with Mags in that, when Jessica Martin's character turned into the werewolf. Yeah. I was just stunned at that the first time I saw it, because it's so much better with effects and the makeup and everything than you'd seen before. Yeah. And the cat people in Survival as well, you know. Okay.
But yeah, all in all, I think better than I thought it was going to be. And to be honest, I wouldn't have mind seeing part 2, actually. Okay. But we won't do that tonight. No. But there we are. So there's I think that's our look at the first 7
Doctors.
Yeah, launching a Doctor. And I think this has been an interesting exercise in you know, going through in order and seeing how the various ways you can do it. Yeah. So are we all excited for tomorrow?
We are all excited for tomorrow. Yes, it's going to be very exciting and very interesting. And this time tomorrow will be almost over. Yeah. But about halfway through.
It's 24 hours just about now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, and we'll be all excited, and we'll have a new Doctor.
Okay. Well, hope you all enjoy it.
Yes.
We'll see you soon then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.